Immediate enrollment and record transfer. My name is Annie Linden. I'm the Assistant Director for Educational Equity and Support. I tend to be a fast presenter in hopes of time for discussion at the end. Please type in the chat feature as I go along if you have questions, and we'll refer back to you. If everyone can mute their mics, we can get started. Today's agenda focuses on student stability, the law, enrollment strategies, and collaboration. If you look at number 6 on the agenda, we will conclude the enrollment webinar. However, those who are responsible for submitting the foster care monitoring forms, I'd like you to stay on the call for 2 more informative slides. Introduction. Studies find that children in foster care are the most vulnerable subgroups in our country. The lack of stability in their everyday lives gravely affects their social and academic success. A child is considered to enter foster care the moment he/she is removed from the home. A child is in foster care regardless of whether the care is by a licensed foster home, a relative, or a group placement, and payments are made by a state, tribal, or local agency. We need a couple more mics to be muted. Legal framework. Definition of placement is when a child is removed from their parents or guardians for 24 or more hours. Child welfare agencies are required to collaborate with educational agencies to keep children in foster care in the same school when living placements change. In the state of North Dakota, school of origin becomes a challenge. Placement in larger districts is easier to maintain school of origin through transportation. However, we tend to see rural foster care students need to be transferred, for long-distance transportation is not in the best interest. Fostering Connections Act requires child welfare agencies to ensure that children in foster care who do change schools are promptly enrolled in a new school with relevant school records. Educational stability. ESEA was reauthorized in 2015, supporting the Foster Connections Act, sharing the responsibility of educational stability with educators. ESSA does not define immediate enrollment. However, the state of North Dakota has defined it as within 24 hours. Immediate means that a foster care child should be enrolled in and attending a new school as soon as possible, 24 hours within the best interest decision. Enrollment means that a student is attending classes, fully participating in both academics and activities. We all know there's a process to entering and exiting records. However, all points of contact are only a phone call away. Students in foster care must be provided with access to a free and appropriate public education. An enrolling school must immediately contact the child's school of origin to obtain the relevant records and documentation. The school of origin needs to immediately transfer those records. Enrollment cannot be delayed or denied because documents have not been provided. State and local agencies should discuss and remove all barriers that could cause students to miss critical learning opportunities. Policies and procedures need to be reviewed for possible unintended barriers. Implementation strategies or ideas. After reviewing existing procedures and policies, you can determine the average length of time it takes between student enrollment and when they actually fully participate in school. You can develop an enrollment protocol and ensure all enrollment staff are informed. Have counselors meet with caregivers, education decision makers, and youth during the registration process to eliminate the need for additional steps. You can accept a temporary copy of records directly from caregivers and/or the custodial workers. Work with the welfare agency to review state and local laws to bring policies into compliance with ESSA. That concludes the slides. If you state your name and role, Kara and I would appreciate questions. Do we have any questions before we continue for the program, foster care program monitoring? Okay, hopefully those of you that are in charge of the program monitoring and documentation stay online, and thank you to everyone else for your time and attention. Program monitoring, documentation forms, and submissions. As we all know, the U.S. Department of Education requires monitoring of Title I programs. The superintendent has accessibility of all program reports and generally delegates each program to the coordinator or points of contact. Listed are the steps for all monitoring programs. The monitoring page also offers a guidance webinar for foster care program reporting. Navigating the website can become a bit of a challenge. The yellow words provided on the slide guide you on what to click. School staff is on the above blue ribbon. Student support and monitoring are along the yellow ribbon to the right side of our website. You can also find just the foster care program guide on the foster care site in the yellow ribbon. One of the questions is, if my school does not receive Title I, do I still need to do this? Yes, foster care is not under, or it doesn't have money provided under Title I. Everyone has to follow these. So if you're the foster care point of contact or liaison, you are going to submit the foster care report. You can go to the next slide. Oh, back up, yeah. Okay, in the last slide, if you go on to just the foster care website, not under the Title I, but above it on the yellow ribbon, I have compliance forms and or templates, if you will, for districts to adopt. That is, if you haven't already created your own and you're kind of getting nervous about the monitoring, I've provided you some of the forms. There are 6 submissions for the foster care report. If you look on the blue where you can automatically click, it'll take you to the web page. Foster Care Liaison, Submission 1. The next form offered is Child Welfare Point of Contact. That's under Submission 2 for the monitoring program report. Notification of placement, it's a hard copy, even though child welfare agencies put it in NDTeach. That's another Submission 2. We offer a Best Interest Determination form. You can put it on your own letterhead. That's Submission 3. The Transportation Agreement is Submission 5 for the program report. Again, you can just put that on your own letterhead if you have not created one. And then again, there's a link to the program sample report for each submission. Another question? Yes, it does. It states Title I programs, but if you go along the ribbon, there's like a Title I-A, foster care is actually above it. And it's the law that we have to collaborate with child welfare agencies for any placement of foster students. Okay, back up a slide, Kara. And the next question is, where are all the directions for the requirements? That's an excellent question. If you look down on the bottom where it says Foster Care Program Sample Report, it shows the submissions you need, the directions, and even some examples that will then take you to the forms also. Joan, did that help?
I don't know what the hell I'm doing here.
Oh, she's printing them all off. Great. There you go. You can also save them and then transfer them on, like the best interest and the transportation. Even if you don't, some people don't have foster students in their district, but you still have to show that you do have the steps and procedures if you receive one. Download these, put them on your letterhead, and show that you now have the procedures. If you go onto the website,
We have to save them as PDFs on the website.
yeah, but when they click on them, they're all fill-ins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're all fill-ins. When you click on it, you can fill them in and keep them on there. If you can't, some people, I've gotten phone calls, if some people can't put them onto your letterhead, a lot just put the letterhead in the printer and print it off. You can print a blank one off onto your letterhead. Or Kara just said if you email her, she'll help you out. Would these, okay, wait. You'll want to talk to your superintendent on the question when everything's due. He may or she may, sometimes they fill it all out or they delegate it, so you're going to want to talk to your superintendent. If they have not offered you your program sample report as a point of contact, you're going to want to ask them. Okay, and then here it says, I do not have any foster students currently. I just have to have a procedure and the forms readily available. Yes. And like if you look at FCO1 on the PowerPoint where it shows LEA Foster Care Liaison, you put your name on that and you can download and save that also and have it already filled out. So every time you do, if you do receive a foster care student, then you can automatically just print that out and give it to the Child Welfare Agency. How do I handle a situation where the local CPA hasn't responded to my request for contact? They haven't sent me any info regarding our students. Do you have, Rachel, do you have students that they're not contacting you for? While we're waiting, I have 3 or 4 people typing at the same time, and they haven't popped up yet. But some of you can start exploring the website along the yellow ribbon and click on your foster care and look under all the resources if you have other questions while we're waiting. Rachel, if you've contacted them both through phone calls and emails, do me a favor and give me a call. 328-4612. Okay, we're down. All right, let's catch up to the questions now. I think we missed a couple. Can you give me the website again for where to find? Okay, if everybody wants to do that, we can do that one step at a time just so we all kind of get used to it. If you go to the DPI website, along the top, you're going to see it's all blue, parents, etc. You're going to want to go to school staff up on the blue horizontal ribbon. Once you click school staff, everything else is listed along the yellow ribbon that's vertical on the right. And it's no longer under Title I, it's Educational Equity and Support. And then the fourth one down along the yellow ribbon is foster care. And then there's guidance and resources. Is anyone else having problems with the audio? Anita's having problems with the audio. I don't know what to, there's a gal in here, Benita, she's having problems with audio, but everybody else isn't. No, that's just all her. Okay, does anyone else have any other questions? Everybody's kind of exploring it. I'll wait. You click on and look at some things. Okay, is it Tana? Tana? What you need to do is talk to your superintendents to see who they're delegating it to. Homeless liaison. Are you asking, Carmen, are you asking about the homeless liaison, their templates and stuff for homeless that were created last year? Or are you talking homeless one or foster care that were created last year? Okay, let's see. Carmen, they are separate. The homeless, foster care, both of them have their own section of program monitoring, and Beth does the homeless. So what she has on her website, I can't answer. I'm unsure.
Oh, shit.
Oops. Do we have any more questions? We have 60-some participants. Everybody looking, browsing. Just a reminder, because there were a couple of questions in reference to the district's program monitoring. In the CONAP, superintendent, they fill out your CONAP, and then they have areas where they write down who the counselor is, and they have areas for your homeless liaison. Some people are both homeless and foster care, but they are separate program submissions. What do we do for students listed as in foster care system, but we know they are living with their parents? Well, then that's not really a foster care situation. Rachel, again, you're going to give me a call. Yes, Benita, they are all on there. If you go onto the foster care website, if you look at the PowerPoint, I'm leading you from school staff to the yellow ribbon, educational equity and support, and then the fourth one down on the yellow ribbon after that is foster care. And I give you these templates under resources and directions under guidance. Yeah, Benita, you got some, or not Benita, Rachel, you got some great questions, and I would like to go through ND Teach with you on the phone. Yes, you can, Rachel. You can call me tomorrow. You can call me Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Great question for the tribal foster care. It's the same thing. We're following the same protocol and procedures through both the tribal welfare agencies. Waiting for a couple of more. Says we're typing. Yes, actually, Title IV fund, there are no funds with foster care. No matter what, we still need to do a placement, a notification of placement. There are no funds. It's the data that we have to segregate. We have to look at the subgroups. Stacy, it does look overwhelming that they do. Each one does have to be filled out for each child in foster care if they are being removed from their school of origin. A lot of us already have foster kids in our school and nobody has been moved in or out. So then it's just the hard copy information. You have then to show who your foster care liaison is for the school and the form for the notification letter, and then the other submission of notification of student placement. You're just going to list, okay, we have 12 of them, they're all in school of origin. So if they're in their school of origin, you do not do a best interest determination. If a child is coming to you, you should receive one. You should have one in their file from their school of origin. If you guys decide a child is best interest is to go to another district, say because a foster home is 2 hours away, you do have to have a best interest. So not all forms are submitted on every child. It depends on their circumstance. Well, actually, with the webinars, Carmen, when we do these webinars, everybody is actually checking in and dialing in. So what you can do is, like, if you notice on my PowerPoint, there is not a submission 4 or 6. Those are kind of going to be in a narrative form. When you look at the program report, the sample report, it's going to say what you need for submission 4 and 6. You're going to do a short narrative. I have attended the immediate enrollment. I have attended to ensure stability or the best interest, and put your dates. And we have the verification here. Stacy, it says you've received foster care students over the holiday. This is where collaboration is critical. They should have a best interest determination from their school of origin. You want to call them, or you want to talk to the custodial worker, the caseworker with those kids, because some of the child welfare agencies, they have the same kind of meetings, and we're just really learning how to invite each other, so they have that paperwork that you're going to want to put in that student's CUME folder. Even if it is a court document placed by the tribal council, it is foster care. If they are removed for 24 hours or more, whether it's a licensed or not, it is foster care. if there is a child welfare agency, whether it's a tribal, county, PATH, if anybody is financially responsible for that child and they are not in the home, it is foster care. Relatives are foster care. If the child welfare, if there is an agency providing financially for a student, then it's considered foster care. Even if they live with grandma or if they live with an aunt or uncle. I raised my niece for 6 years. Whether you're licensed or not and the child is away from home and a child welfare agency is financially responsible or place them in a relative's home for the consistency and the stability, they are still a foster student. Okay, it looks like there's no typing. Anybody have any more questions? You can refer back to the beginning of the PowerPoint or the program monitoring. If you have way too much to type, please feel free to call me. All right, no typing. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And if you think of anything after looking through it again, please feel free to call me. Have a wonderful rest of the week. It's supposed to be 40 degrees tomorrow. Get your flip-flops out.